Hi there. My goal for this screencast is to review some very basic command line functions that we learned in class at Portland Code School. This entire topic was introduced to us by our instructor Al, and he gave a wonderful analogy of showing up on an island where everyone is able to communicate in some language that makes absolutely no sense to you. This analogy was a nice juxtaposition to the kitchen analogy that Neem presented for how websites work. And I can't possibly do it as well as Al did, so I will spare you from my imitation. But suffice it to say that the essence of the metaphor, as I understood it, was that command line and command line interface is foreign to everyone who didn't, grow up using it, essentially. Anyone who is new to this island that we call command line interface. And that you can't let that stop you. You just need to jump in and learn. So maybe this is your training wheels of your effort to jump in. In class, we went over the following commands. These are the ones that I'm also going to review in this tutorial. There are infinitely more commands essentially, but these are some basic ones that you'll use all the time. So on the left hand is what you're going to type: cd, change directory; pwd, print working directory. So remember that directories are what we call files when we're used to looking at things through a visual interface like a Finder or a File Explorer. ls, list directory; rm, remove directory; mkdir, make directory. And then there are some modifications that we can make to any of these. Well, not necessarily all of them have modifications, but the list directory does, as I've shown here, and the one that we went over was AL capital F. And that means that you not only want to list the files, you want to show all the files, including the hidden ones, and you want to show them in long form, and so you get some more information about that. Lastly here, we have the option to get help about a particular command within the command line itself. And so the way that we're going to do that is we're going to type man, and then we're going to type in the command that we're trying to find information about. We could use any of these, or maybe some new ones that you discover out there. And when we run that, it's going to give us some information that's built into whatever command line interface we're using. I happen to think that using the print working directory and the list directory options are the two most helpful when you're accustomed to a visual interface. That way you can type in a command, maybe you change the directory, and then you print working directory, and it'll show you the path where you currently reside. Or you change directory and then you hit list directory and you go, okay, what the heck is inside of this directory that I just changed to? And that gives you a nice sense of what you're actually working with. So I'm going to use git bash. This is very similar to the terminal. If you're using a Mac, it's more like a Linux command line. And so feel free to follow along or watch and then go practice on your own. But like the analogy said, you're only going to learn this foreign language by just jumping in there and practicing. So I encourage you to do that. All right, so first of all, it shows us where we are. We've got this money symbol, which is where the icon is, and then that blinking light encouraging us to go ahead and type something. So let's print working directory and see where we are. So that path tells us that we are on the C drive, in a users directory, and then in my directory, which is Xander. Okay, so that's where we are. Let's go someplace else. Well, how do we know what our options are? We might start by listing all of the different options. Hopefully there's nothing horribly embarrassing there, and if so, I'll have to edit it out. But anyway, so we could see all these different options. Maybe we want to go into our documents folder. You can see that right here. Okay, so we will change directory. Again, looking down at the bottom, change directory, and we'll go into documents. Now I'm going to type it out slow, and then I'll show you something cool that we can do in just a minute. Notice that that path up here has changed. The tilde is shorthand for your home directory, which is where we were to begin with. So now we're in the home directory, and then further we're in documents. If we want to see that in more detail, we print working directory, and we can see that we've gone into the documents folder. Okay, we want to change again. List directory. These are the options now within that documents folder, all of the different options that we can go into. Ooh, there's something that looks familiar. GitHub. Let's go in there. Change directory. Now watch, I'm going to type a capital G, and then I'm going to hit tab. Well, it didn't pick it up. Maybe a lowercase I, tab. There we go. That's like an autocomplete option. If you give it enough distinct characters, you don't have to type them all. It knows what is in that folder. So change directory, GitHub. Okay, let's list and see what's in there. Front-end freelancer. So that is the repository from our class. Maybe we can look inside of there. Hopefully that looks familiar. Looks like I haven't pulled down updates in that for a while, because you can see there's only the week 1 folder. More on Git stuff on another screencast. So we've gone over print working directory, list, and change directory. Let's see, let's remove something, and to do that I'm going to go up a folder. The dot dot means change directory. Go back 1. Notice that we were in front-end freelancer, and now we're just back up 1 in GitHub. Is there anything in there I can delete? No, that's all precious stuff. So let's go back here and see what I don't care about. Here we go. This is an easy folder to download again. So I'm going to remove this. Okay, that's a PDF. And so going back down to our command line here, we will type RM for remove, space, and then we'll start typing in the file. I'll see if it can recognize it. There we go. I don't think those are all separate directories. Let's see what it does. Hit enter. Okay, now ls, and Eugene bike path is gone. So look how easy that was to delete a file. There's no, are you sure you want to move this to the recycle bin dialog or anything like that? So be very careful whenever you're removing that. If you want to remove a folder, you need to type -R, which means remove recursively, and then type in what you want to delete. That is even more powerful. So be very, very sure you know what you're deleting before you use that command. Let's see, long form. We want to, let's go back into our GitHub, and let me clear this out so that it's less confusing, and let's just list, but this time let's see all the details. So over here, you don't have to worry about what these things mean right now, but those are permissions for the file. It shows who has permissions, and it shows the file name. It shows probably creation date or maybe save date. I'm not enough of a pro to tell you that. I'm sure Al said it in lecture, but I forget. I'm sorry, Al. Anyway, so there is that option for looking at more details. Let's try and figure out, let's say we don't know what the RM command is. So we type in man rm. And my apologies, that functionality is not built into my Git version of the terminal, so that won't work. But try it on your computer and you will see all of the cool stuff it does. Thank you for swinging by and watching this screencast. I hope that it was helpful. More to come soon. Happy studying.